Right now, as you watch this, your brain is lying to you. Not sometimes, not occasionally, constantly. Every decision you think you made freely, every opinion you think you formed independently, every relationship you think you chose rationally, was shaped by invisible psychological traps running in the background of your mind. Scientists have studied these patterns for decades. They are documented, tested, and proven. And the most terrifying part is that knowing about them is not enough to escape them. They work on everyone. They work on professors. They work on therapists. They work on you. In the next few minutes, I am going to expose 10 of these traps one by one. By the end of this video, you will look back at your own life and realize just how many of your choices were never really yours. Trap 10, the anchoring effect. Imagine you walk into a store and the first thing you see is a jacket priced at $1,000. You do not buy it, but 20 minutes later, you find another jacket for $250 and it feels like a steal. You buy it without hesitation. Here is the truth. That first jacket was placed there on purpose, not to be sold, to be seen. The moment your brain registered that $1,000 number, it became your internal reference point, your anchor. Every price you evaluated after that was measured against it. The seller did not lower the price. They raised your ceiling first and then met you in the middle. This same trap controls salary negotiations, car dealerships, real estate offers, and every discount sale you have ever celebrated. You think you are being rational. You're actually being guided by whoever placed the first number in front of you. Trap 9. The Dunning-Kruger effect. The most dangerous person in any room is not the one who knows the least. It is the one who knows just enough to believe they know everything. When someone first learns something new, their confidence explodes. They talk loudly. They give advice. They argue with experts because at that early stage, they do not yet know how much they do not know. Real mastery does the opposite. The more deeply someone understands a subject, the more clearly they see its complexity, its gaps, its uncertainty. A beginner guitarist thinks he is ready for a stage. A concert pianist thinks he still has years of work ahead. This trap explains why the loudest voices in any argument are often the least informed. And it explains something even more uncomfortable. There was a version of you in the past who was completely confident about something you now realize you were completely wrong about. And right now, today, you are just as confident about something else. Trap 8. Confirmation bias. Your brain does not search for truth. It searches for agreement. The moment you form a belief, your mind becomes a filter. It lets in everything that supports what you already think and quietly blocks out everything that challenges it. You believe a certain person is untrustworthy. Suddenly, every neutral thing they do looks suspicious. You believe a diet works. You notice every success story and scroll past every study that says otherwise. This is not stupidity. This is the brain protecting its own architecture. Changing a belief requires admitting you were wrong, and that costs psychological energy. So instead, your mind edits reality for you. It curates your information feed before you even open your phone. The most chilling part is that confirmation bias grows stronger the more educated and intelligent a person is. Because a smarter brain is simply better at building convincing arguments for what it already believes. Trap 7. The sunk cost fallacy. You have been in a relationship for 4 years. It stopped working 2 years ago. But you stay, because you have already given 4 years. You are 40 minutes into a movie you hate. You keep watching, because you already spent the time. You have put money into a business that is clearly failing. You keep investing, because you cannot walk away from what you already lost. This trap hijacks your decision-making by chaining your future to your past. The logical reality is simple. What you have already spent is gone. Whether you stay or leave, those years, that money, that time does not come back. The only question that matters is whether continuing from this moment forward makes sense. But your brain refuses to accept that. It treats the past as a reason to justify the present. And so you keep walking deeper into something that stopped serving you a long time ago, because leaving feels like admitting the whole thing was a mistake. Trap 6. The Barnum effect. You read your horoscope. It says you are someone who appears confident on the outside but carries private doubts that few people ever see. You feel a chill. That is exactly you. Except it is also exactly the person sitting next to you, and the person across the room. The Barnum effect is the psychological reason why astrology, personality tests, tarot readings, and fortune tellers feel so accurate. They are not describing you specifically. They are using language that is vague enough to apply to almost every human being on the planet, but personal enough to feel like a private insight. When you read it, your brain immediately searches for the memories that match, and it always finds them, because the statement was designed to guarantee a match. You are not being seen, you are being mirrored, and you are doing most of the work yourself. Trap 5. Hindsight bias. The moment something happens, your brain rewrites history. The team loses the game, and you immediately say you knew they were going to lose. The stock crashes, and you say you saw the signs weeks ago. The relationship ends badly, and suddenly all those early red flags feel obvious. Hindsight bias makes your brain revise your past predictions to match current outcomes. It makes you feel smarter than you were. And that feeling is exactly what makes it dangerous, because if you genuinely believe you saw it coming, you will trust your instincts more next time. You will take bigger risks. You will underestimate uncertainty. You will walk into situations with false confidence built on a memory that your own mind fabricated. The past did not make you wise. Your brain just edited it to make it look that way. Trap 4. The spotlight effect. You walk into a room with a stain on your shirt. You are convinced that every single person notices. You spend the entire evening managing the angle of your body, crossing your arms, staying near walls. The reality is that not one person in that room is thinking about your shirt. They are all too busy worrying about how they themselves are being perceived. The spotlight effect is the illusion that you are being watched, evaluated, and judged far more than you actually are. This trap keeps people from speaking up in meetings. It stops them from trying new things in public. It makes them edit themselves constantly to perform for an audience that is not even watching. You are not the main character of anyone else's story. The spotlight you feel is a spotlight you built yourself. And it is pointed at no one. Trap 3. The just world fallacy. When you see someone suffering, there is a quiet voice in your mind that searches for what they did to deserve it. He lost his job. He probably was not working hard enough. She ended up in that situation. She should have been more careful. This is not cruelty. This is psychology protecting you. If the world is fair, then bad things happen to people who earn them. And if you are good enough, careful enough, smart enough, bad things will not happen to you. Your brain needs this to be true because the alternative is terrifying. The alternative is that the world is random, that suffering can reach anyone at any time for no reason at all. The just world fallacy makes people indifferent to genuine pain. It makes victims responsible for their own victimization. And it gives everyone a false sense of safety built entirely on a story the brain invented to avoid confronting how little control any of us actually have. Trap 2. Cognitive dissonance. You make a decision. It turns out to be wrong. And instead of admitting that, your brain begins rewriting the story. You bought something expensive that disappointed you. Suddenly, you start telling people how great it is. You stayed in a situation that was clearly hurting you. Suddenly, you start finding evidence that it was actually fine. Cognitive dissonance is the discomfort your brain feels when reality does not match the story it has built about you, and your brain will do almost anything to eliminate that discomfort, not by changing the decision, by changing the interpretation of reality. This is how people stay in bad jobs, bad relationships, and bad habits for years while genuinely believing they are making a choice. They are not choosing to stay. They are choosing the version of reality where staying makes sense, and every day they stay, that version becomes more real to them than the truth. Trap 1. The illusion of control. You shake the dice carefully before you throw, as if the angle of your wrist will change the outcome. You research the stock obsessively before buying, as if enough analysis can overcome the randomness of a market moved by millions of unpredictable humans. You plan every detail of your future, as if life has ever followed anyone's plan without interruption. The illusion of control is the deepest trap on this list because it lives at the foundation of how humans function. We need to believe we are in control. Without that belief, anxiety takes over, so the brain manufactures the feeling of control even where none exists. The truly powerful people in this world are not the ones who control the most. They are the ones who know precisely what they can influence and what they cannot. They focus everything on the first category and release the second completely. Everyone else is still shaking the dice and calling it strategy. You just saw 10 traps, and if you are honest with yourself, you recognized yourself in at least 3 of them, maybe more. That recognition is not comfortable, but it is the beginning of something. Because most people go their entire lives making decisions inside these traps without ever once questioning why they think the way they think. Awareness does not make you immune. These patterns are wired too deep for that. But awareness gives you a half-second pause between the trap firing and you walking into it. And in that half-second, you have a choice that you did not have before. That half-second is the difference between a person who is lived by their psychology and a person who actually lives. If this video made you think of a specific moment in your life where one of these traps controlled you, drop the number in the comments. Just the number. 1 through 10. No explanation needed. Let the comment section show us all just how universal these patterns really are.